Well, Eagles are 3-0, ready to go for Tampa this week. A lot of news regarding going to Tampa this week, and we have roster moves. We have Nick Sirianni's press conference and some rumors that are swirling right now that are a little confusing, but this could affect this season indefinitely. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into it all.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's on a fantastic day today. So to start all the news off, the Eagles did make a roster move, okay? The Eagles claimed Xavier Gipson, a kick returner / wide receiver, to the roster, okay? And they did waive Kenyon Green for this move. Now, there are rumors going around that Darius Cooper, okay, will be on the IR, that he does have a shoulder injury. Now, why are they bringing in this kick returner / wide receiver? Well, I think partially it's because kick return has been shit. That last game with Tank muffing, I don't know how many kick returns, John Mechie muffing a couple kick returns. I mean, this is the reason why we were really stuck down in our own, 5 to 10 to 15 yard line almost the entire game. When the offense really couldn't get anything going, it was really frustrating. So they signed this guy probably just for special teams, maybe for wide receiver depth if they really needed that. And we'll see if the Darius Cooper news is actually true when, we see the official news of it. But that's been the rumor going around. And an upgrade at kick return, I guess. They have to do a better job. I didn't like Tank down there. Now, Nick Sirianni had his press conference, was asked about Kevin Patullo, his play calling, that if Kevin Patullo did call plays in the second half, and Nick said he did. Okay, I know John McMullen was fighting over with somebody on, on X, who's spreading the rumor that Hurts is calling his own plays. And for me, look, I just don't get how you have a game plan in the first half the way you had it, and then one conversation happens during the second half, or that second half completely changes. Night and day offense. I mean, I don't think Hurts was, turning off his microphone in his helmet that everybody was talking about, because I heard that a million times. And I also heard that, that Hurts was calling plays on his own, which I think that he was. I think he was changing a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, or Hurts just went up to Patullo and pretty much said, yo, throw out this playbook that you have in your hands right now. We need to change some things up, because anything that they were using from that play call sheet in that first half was absolute garbage. And that's pretty much where we're at. So there was a lot of fighting back and forth regarding social media of beat writers against some of these fans on what really happened. I think Hurts really changed some things up, and I think he gave Patullo a fucking earful on the sideline. I don't get why Patullo plays conservative. I mean, the guys that you have on this roster, especially at wide receiver. Why are you not throwing to A.J. Brown like you just didn't do in that first half? When he's covered, he's open. Throw to Devontae Smith on some intermediate routes, run some read options. Give Hurts some QB runs, some play design runs from him. I mean, there just wasn't enough in that first half, and it really dug us a deep hole that surprisingly we got ourselves out of. Looking for the ultimate way to test your sports knowledge? ProfitX puts you in the action with peer-to-peer sports prediction market. Play against your friends and fellow fans, not the house. With the best lines in the space available in over 40 states, ProfitX makes predicting games more exciting than ever. Don't just watch the game, dominate with ProfitX. Now we're going to go over the Eagles versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another big NFC matchup this Sunday, 1 o'clock, and we're going to be going to the total points, 43.5. Do I take the over or under? And honestly, I think both of these teams will score more than 21, 22 points in this game. I think I'm going to take the over on this. It's going to be a high-scoring game. The Eagles offense is going to be back, and the Buccaneers are going to play it tough, so that's what the decision I've made on it for this #1 sports book. Use promo code SHAKE72. You can get up to $200 cash back over your first 30 days. Every play you make, ProfitX gives you money back for playing on their platform. Up to $200. I repeat, use SHAKE72 for the #1 ultimate sportsbook. Now we finally hear the news on Lane Johnson. We finally get to see what this injury was, and we did find out after the game that it was a stinger injury to see if he was going to be okay, and Lane Johnson will be fine. I mean, we really need him back, but I have to give props to Fred Johnson. Okay, guy didn't practice at right tackle the whole week, went in there, and seeing the tape from Fred Jonson at right tackle, I mean, he took Jared Verse and threw him to the ground. I mean, he was physical. I mean, look, he's not the most athletic when it comes to how fast he is going upfield, because Saquon had to like kind of push him a little bit when he was running behind him. So Fred is not fast at all as an offensive lineman, but when it comes to his run blocking, being physical, his pass protection, it was an A+ for me for Fred Jonson. You have to try to extend this guy or try to give him another contract, at least for another year. I mean, I'm not even saying long term, but we need a backup left tackle, right tackle badly. And Fred can play left, and it looks like he can play right really well. And that's just way too much value that I'm only going to have for a year. I think there's just some way they got to keep him here. And I think Fred wants to stay here. I don't think he wanted to leave and go to Jacksonville, which really didn't, take too long. And then he finally came back. So without Fred Jonson, you have no win. Upsiding some other factors in the game, you don't win this game, period, without Fred Jonson. So that's a big shout out to him, what he did for the offensive line. Jordan Davis, obviously, is really starting to peak. Is not looking like a bust. Is not looking like that he's, deteriorating himself at all, and losing all that weight, and just what he's putting into these games. I mean, from game to game to game, it's just more production. I don't think this is flash. I think the Eagles might have to change their plans on what they're doing here, because if Jordan Davis continues what he's doing this season, and all we're kind of waiting for right now is Jalen Carter kind of get his feet under him, because he's just, not that he hasn't done anything, he just hasn't been what he should be right now. And I think that's just a lack of the injuries that he had with his shoulder, and, this out of shape thing that I don't think Fangio is really worried about, that he will get his feet under him. But, for Jordan Davis to maybe get an extension. I know the Eagles did pick up that 5th-year option, so he's here this year, and he's here through the 2026 season. But there might be something down the line that we might be thinking, you know what? Maybe the Eagles don't re-sign Nolan Smith. I mean, Nolan Smith has not done much of anything in 3 games. Just saying. And I'm giving him time, and that's perfectly fine. But the edge rushers in this Rams game did nothing. Jalix Hunt, he's on the milk carton at this point. I really have favored him throughout the beginning of the season. In the offseason program, I've seen nothing. Nolan Smith, I mean, against the run, he's chipped the tackles a little bit and kind of stand his ground to make some of these good tackles against the run. But as a pass rush standpoint, he's almost been there a couple times, but just hasn't really done anything yet. The pressure's on Nolan Smith. He's due a contract soon, and maybe things are going to change soon with contracts extensions. Maybe you're going to re-sign Reed Blankenship, and you're going to re-sign pretty much Jordan Davis, for another couple years. So you have him for at least another 3 years after this year, which would be really good. Sometimes we think certain guys are going to get signed. We know Jalen Carter is going to get that big contract, but when it comes to Jordan Davis, since Nakobe Dean's hurt and probably won't get a big contract, and Reed will be due an extension, the Eagles will probably give that to him, because he is a leader for this team. He, I think, is one of the captains for this team. So you're not getting rid of a guy like that everybody is looking up to in this defense as well. So I think realistically things are going to change when it comes to these big contract extensions. And, Jordan Davis, who knows? He might make, maybe, $17 to $20 million, maybe $18 million a year. I mean, I don't think Jordan Davis will get big, 30 plus, 40 plus $million type money. Probably not, but I think it's something to realistically consider. And I think it really all depends on Nolan Smith. And I think it all depends on Jalix Hunt too, because he really needs to start producing. But, you're talking about Nolan Smith, the 1st-round pick, to Jalix Hunt as a 3rd rounder. So, there's a lot to really say there. Now, it looks like the Eagles are changing their plans for Tampa Bay this week, okay? Now, the Eagles are going to leave on Friday a day earlier to go work out on Saturday, to already be in Tampa to practice in the heat, because it's not going to be a good day on Sunday. It's a 1 o'clock game. It's supposed to be the lower 90%, I think the lower 90s in that game, 70% humidity. So it's going to be, it's hard to play in that heat. Even when the Eagles went to Tampa last time they played, I think they went to Tampa last year, and the players were really, on top of not having A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the players were they were dying out there. And I think they want to get over there. They want to practice in this heat. They want to kind of not just get to that Sunday game and be like, oh my God, look at the weather's kind of crazy. So I think that will help tremendously. I think that's a really smart move for them to do that. This is like the end of your gauntlet of really hard games. I'm not trying to take every game for granted, but this is the gauntlet, the final game, and realistically your big gauntlet that you had beginning of the season, which the NFL really stumped us on a really hard schedule in the beginning, coming off of the starters not being in preseason games and, a new offensive coordinator, that we're still trying to figure out at this point. So leaving for Tampa early and, the Eagles hopefully get this win on Sunday. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, that's pretty much it. How do you feel about Nick Sirianni's press conference regarding Kevin Patullo calling the play? Will it continue what they kind of played off in that second half of that Rams game, or will they go back to their basic shit and then try to make adjustments again, which I really hopefully don't want to go through again? How do you feel about Jordan Davis? Do you think he should get an extension? Is Nolan Smith popping out to you in any way? Do you have faith in him? And how do you feel about special teams in general? Because I think that's a big one for the Eagles. You think special teams ain't no big deal, but that Rams game showed special teams why it's so important to have, reliable guys back there on kick returns that aren't muffing kick returns and giving us problems with field position. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And make sure you hit the like button because it helps out tremendously. Go check out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch. Super Bowl rings, pre-orders until October 1st. And then they'll be sent out on October 13th. So only 100 rings, in store. And that's pretty much it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next one. Check out PhiladelphiaEagles. Peace, guys. Bye.